Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to this explainer where we take fascinating source material, break it down, and figure out how to actually use it in our daily lives. So today we're talking about something so many of us try, but let's be real, often struggle to keep up with. Meditation. We all know it's supposed to be this amazing tool for peace and clarity, right? But then real life happens. You're exhausted, your mind is racing, or you're just sitting there with your eyes closed feeling totally lost. Well, if any of that sounds familiar, you are absolutely in the right place.
Our focus today is on a book called The Secret of Meditation. And what makes this particular text a real game changer isn't just that it talks about the high-level spiritual benefits. Actually, it acts as a super practical guide for the exact everyday roadblocks that we all face when trying to build a consistent practice. The author totally acknowledges that, hey, we're human beings with messy, complicated lives. We're going to zero in on Chapter 5 of the text, which is set up as a Q&A on meditation for happiness. This is where the author answers real-world questions from actual practitioners. It's highly actionable stuff that cuts right through the abstract theory and gives you solutions you can literally use today.
So here's our menu for today. We'll cover real problems in meditation, mental habits to prevent dementia, what to do when you're just totally exhausted, finding a balance between reflection and forgetfulness, and finally, what to do when you just can't seem to visualize anything.
Section 1. Real Problems in Meditation, Addressing Everyday Hurdles.
Section 2. Mental Habits to Prevent Dementia, Proactive Cognitive Health.
A huge theme in this text is that meditation is incredibly flexible. It's meant to serve you at different stages of life. And for a lot of older adults, or honestly anyone looking ahead, a major hurdle is the fear of cognitive decline. Have you ever worried about aging or losing your mental sharpness? Maybe you've watched a loved one go through it. It's tough. So how can something like meditation actually help stave off senile dementia?
While the author explicitly addresses this in the text, according to the source material, the secret is keeping the mind active and maintaining your capacity for judgment. It's not just about spacing out and relaxing, it's about active mental engagement and preserving your brain's ability to evaluate the world around you.
So the crucial point is how the author structures this solution. The text lays out 3 proactive habits. First, daily self-reflection to actively assess your actions. Second, maintaining right faith, which gives you a deeply grounding sense of purpose. And third, practicing mental concentration to keep those cognitive muscles flexed. It's a very active, engaged approach to mental longevity.
Section 3. What to do when exhausted. Managing physical limits. Okay, we really need to talk about modern burnout. You know that feeling when you drag yourself home after a brutal day? Remember you promised yourself you'd meditate, and you're just too exhausted to even function? Does forcing yourself to sit and focus in that state actually do any good? Actually, the source material completely debunks the myth that you have to meditate every single day, no matter what. The text points out that your mind and body are so deeply intertwined that ignoring extreme physical exhaustion totally defeats the purpose of the whole practice.
I love this part. The text states plainly, when extremely physically fatigued, prioritize getting enough sleep and recovering your physical strength first. It is so refreshing to hear this. The author is literally giving you permission to just go to sleep. If you're sick or running on empty, forced meditation is not a badge of honor, guys. Rest has to come first.
Section 4. Balance of Reflection and Forgetfulness, Navigating Emotional Baggage.
Now we're getting into what I honestly think is the emotional climax of this text. There is this subtle trap that a lot of really dedicated people fall into, getting completely bogged down in emotional baggage. We've all been there, right? You start analyzing your past mistakes, trying to learn from them, and suddenly you're just drowning in this spiral of guilt. How do we reflect on our faults without letting them paralyze us?
The source acknowledges this exact danger. In the Q&A, someone actually asks about this dilemma, feeling like they're just constantly staring at their past sins and making zero forward progress. The text warns that deep reflection, if you're not careful, can accidentally turn into a really toxic, punishing spiral. And this brilliantly illustrates the author's solution, balancing reflection with forgetfulness. On one side, yes, we have deep reflection, doing the heavy lifting of owning our faults. But then, the text brings in this beautiful metaphor of the river of forgetfulness. The idea here is that once you've truly reflected and learned your lesson, you have to wash that guilt away in the river. You simply cannot carry the weight of everything you've ever done wrong forever. Letting go isn't just nice, it's a necessity to move forward.
Section 5. When you can't visualize, practical execution.
All right, let's talk about an incredibly common frustration, especially if you're a beginner doing guided meditations. You're sitting there, the guide is telling you to picture a bright, healing light or whatever, and nothing. You just see the dark back of your eyelids. It's the worst. So what on earth do you do when your brain just refuses to paint those pictures?
The source material tackles this head-on. When asked what to do when mental imagery just isn't working, the text offers a surprisingly grounded physical workaround. You do not have to just sit there in the dark getting annoyed with yourself. Let's move to and see how this builds into an actionable solution. The author suggests stepping away from closed-eye visualization entirely. Step 1, open your eyes. Step 2, grab a pen and a piece of paper. Step 3, physically write out your thoughts and the specific things you are trying to visualize. By grounding your mind in a physical action, you bypass that mental block completely. You're still focusing your intentions, but you're using physical tools to get the clarity that your mind's eye just wasn't delivering.
If we distill everything we've looked at today, this is the absolute core takeaway. True meditation works with our human limitations, not against them. Whether you're dealing with the realities of aging, total physical exhaustion, lingering guilt, or you just can't visualize things in your head, the practice is supposed to adapt to you. It's a tool to enhance your life, not some punishing, rigid chore you have to suffer through.
So I'm going to leave you with this to chew on. Are you trying to force your meditation practice into this perfect, unattainable box, or are you letting it adapt to the messy reality of your actual daily life? I really hope this explainer gave you some practical tools to shake up your approach to mindfulness and maybe inspired you to check out the source material for yourself. Thanks so much for learning with me today.